is Jonathan here, and yes, this is a swim shirt because I was just swimming. That is why I look like I just blew up in the head. But today I thought it'd be fun to talk about why Lindsay Lohan and most recently our favorite Amanda Bynes sort of went crazy. And I think I found out why. I just thought about it today and I thought I'd make a video because I think it's pretty ingenious, not gonna lie. But so I think the issue that, because I called she would go crazy and everyone thought I was like numb in the head. Everyone was like, no, Amanda Bynes will never go crazy. What are you talking about? That'll never happen. Well, I called it, and that's because and this was a long time ago. I'm 14 as of June 3rd, which was very recent, actually. Happy birthday to me. But so I called it, and everyone thought I was crazy. And the reason, even back then, I think I knew this a little bit, but I finally like put it together and it all makes sense now, because I always said she was at the peak of her career. She had the Amanda Show, which backed up straight into Hairspray, which was the very peak of her career. She would have gotten a lot of jobs after that. She did extremely well in that movie. And so she pulled herself out of that movie and she was like, okay, I'm retired. Now that's when I knew she would go crazy. Yes, these are popsicle sticks. But I knew she would go crazy then. And the reason they both went crazy is because they were at the peak of their career. And they just dropped out. And a lot of times celebrities will just sort of like die down and then they'll like quit or whatever, and that whole, or like get fired or something like that will happen to them, and that humbles them. So they're just like, okay, I'll just go find a job, get a different job, I'll do this or do that, whatever. But when you pull yourself out of that so quickly without a reason other than, okay, I have enough money now or whatever, you're still thinking in the mindset that you are famous. So when you dropped out, you're still thinking, oh, I'm as famous as I was back then. So you're still thinking that you're that famous and you're really not. So once you start to die down a lot and you're sort of like not realizing it because you're in this mindset, you're starting to think, oh, I'm so famous and I'm not even doing anything. I don't even have to do anything to become famous. I'm a celebrity. I'm super famous. I don't have to do anything. I can just do whatever and I'll still be a celebrity because I'm always going to be a celebrity, just like I was a year ago or half a year ago or a month ago or whatever. And so they get into that mindset, and then finally they start to realize, okay, that's probably, I'm actually starting to die down a little bit. And so once it first happens, to start to drink and do drugs, because they start to try to do anything to try to get back in that mindset. So when they drink and do drugs, they're trying to put themselves back into the illusion that they are still famous. So they're doing these drugs, doing this alcohol to try to convince themselves when they're drunk, when they're whatever, it just makes them think they're better than they are, drugs. So they use these to get into that mindset once again when they're starting to fade out of that and realizing I'm not as famous as I thought I was. And then they start to keep realizing it. And then they go, okay, maybe if I change something about myself. That's when Lindsay Lohan got rid of all her freckles, did that weird, gross thing with her mouth that looks like this. And then that's when that's when Amanda Bynes was like, okay, maybe if I get plastic surgery, like, that'll help. Like, that'll make everyone want to see me again. That'll make everyone want to, like, watch me again, see me again. And I'll be famous again if I do that, if I change my look, if I change my figure, like, if I get piercings, like, it'll make me a more popular individual. So that's when they do all that stuff. And then after they finally, which Ashley Tisdale, or not Ashley Tisdale, what am I talking about? That's when Amanda Bynes hasn't gotten to this point yet. She's still at the point where she's drinking and doing the drugs and changing her face, getting the piercings, getting whatever. But Lindsay Lohan is at the future point, which Amanda Bynes is destined to, where you finally realize, like, oh my gosh, like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I'm not as famous. And you start to realize I'm not as famous as I think I am. And you realize, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done this, or maybe I shouldn't have done this. And you can't stop. And that's the problem with Lindsay Lohan, because she's realized that, okay, I'm not that popular. I'm not famous. I'm famous because I'm a horrible person now, but I'm not who I used to be. Like, no one really likes me. Like, and I can't stop doing drugs because I'm addicted now. And so now, at that point, she's trying to do this, do that, and go to, okay, so that's when they start to go to rehab, and they can't stop. It's like a drug. They keep breaking the law, stealing stuff, stealing diamonds, doing drugs, getting caught, and all that stuff, and they just can't stop. And that's where Lindsay Lohan is. She's gotten to that point of no return where she can't stop. Like, she can't turn back. She can't stop doing drugs, like, just by the snap of her fingers anymore, because she's done it for so long. And Amanda Bynes, that's what I fear her future is. She's just going to keep doing it, keep doing drugs. Like, if you haven't heard, she was smoking bong in a hotel or whatever, and then the police came and she threw it out the window and it was broken. And they're like, what was it then? And she's like, it was a pat I threw out the window or whatever, or like a lamp or something like that, she said it was. But now she's really getting into drugs, apparently, with this. Now she's gotten into drugs, she's gotten into alcohol, she's done the piercing, she's fixed her face, she's done all the stuff to alter herself. Now she's not quite there yet, but in the future she's gonna realize, okay, I'm just sad, like maybe I shouldn't have done that, maybe I shouldn't have done this, and then she's not gonna be able to stop. And that's what happens, and I knew that would happen. And so I think that really clarifies everything for me. Like, I realized that today, and I was like, it all makes sense now. Like, once you really think about it, like, it all goes together. Like, and so that's why the people who, like, oh, stop getting jobs, like Ashley Tisdale, she'll get, like, small jobs, like Phineas and Ferb, and then she's, like, fine. Or, that's so Raven Simone, she had, like, kids, and so she quit her job so she could take care of her kids. Like, most of the people who turn out fine that were famous have some reason they quit, have some reason they got fired, and they just are like, okay, I'll just start a new job. But that's what happens to everyone who just quits when they're famous. So yeah, I hope you guys agree with me. If you don't, I'm actually interested. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment or video response below telling me what your theory is. And if you agree with mine, tell me, and tell me why. And if there's any little changes, just tell me. Whatever. Please subscribe. I have like 2 subscribers that are like my friends that did it out of pity. And so yeah. Bye.